Good luck.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, unfortunately today, I have to speak with you in English, right? Ich würde gerne alles auf Deutsch machen, aber heute ist unser Internationaltag, so wir müssen ein bisschen Englisch machen, okay? Es tut mir leid, ne? Es tut mir leid. We've got two fantastic translators in the back, in this little beautiful box back here. I've already spoken to them, and I've said, look guys, if I say a joke and it's not funny, can you just give it a bit of spice? If you can just spice it up a little bit. So they've told me they're going to do that, so I'm really looking forward to it. So go big or go home. What does that mean? That's the conversation I had yesterday with somebody. They said, we looked at your speech title and we've got no idea what it's going to mean. So hopefully I can share that with you today, and by the end of the talk you're going to be inspired to play a bigger game instead of playing small. So I'm originally from New Zealand. I went to the New Zealand College of Chiropraktic, and I think I've been in Germany, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. I mean, time flies when you're having fun, right? What I got to say is there was such a welcoming spirit of chiropractic when I first came here to Germany. So I came over here, didn't speak any German, and I was amazed at how everybody opened their practices, opened their doors for me to come and observe. It was people like Sharaf, JP, Marcus, Craig, Jacob. They said, come on in. We're going to show you how chiropractic works here in Germany. This is what we do. This is how we can do it. It was a very generous spirit of chiropractic here in Germany. People like Robert, and unfortunately he's not here today, but he let me borrow a portable Thule table for about a year so that I could practice on it. And I thought, man, that is so cool. That's like the most generous thing that I've ever seen. And then of course there was so much encouragement. Paul Ahern is here. Where is he? Thank you, Paul. Paul gave me a job, even though I didn't speak English. I didn't speak German. Still, my English is not so good, I guess. But yeah, Paul gave me a job. I think I just hung around the practice enough that he was like, well, I better get this guy actually doing something. So Paul, thank you for that. And then Mark, we've also been working together for a long time. And what I want to say is that spirit of chiropractic here in Germany is amazing. It's what I know from New Zealand. And that's what we have to keep, right? We've seen that over this weekend, all of us coming together as part of the DAGC in the breaks from all parts of Germany. And it's just amazing to see. So thank you very much for that. So, go big or go home. That's become a little bit my motto since I've been here in Germany. There's been many moments where it's been like, shall I learn German or shall I just go home? Shall I go bigger or shall I just pack it all up and go back to New Zealand? Right? And I'm sure you guys have had moments like that in your chiropractic career as well. So in this photo here, what you can see on the left-hand side is where Mark and I were working in a Praxisgemeinschaft, right? In the very, very back room, in this tiny little chiropractic oasis. And we loved it, but the people had to walk past, you know, the person injecting things into the lips to make it more beautiful, past the person doing the needles, past the energetic healer, past all of those people. And then at some point, you know, we were very comfortable, we were enjoying it, to an extent, right? To an extent. And then all of a sudden, about 2 months before the lease was up for that building, and it's here at Karlsplatz in Düsseldorf, and it's a big place, we found out that the lease wasn't going to be renewed with those current people that were doing it. And so we had a decision to make. Either we go big, or we go home, or we play a smaller game, or we get a smaller practice, because to be honest, we wouldn't have taken that space if it was our decision from the start. But of course, we decided to go bigger, and now you can see on the right-hand side there at Kiwi Chiropraktic, we have 3 practice locations. We have 5 associate chiropractors, 2 people doing internships, and an amazing team of CAs, and they're all sitting there, so if you can give them a big round of applause. Thank you, guys. The best team. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, these guys make it really worth being here, so thank you very much. All right, so what is going bigger? So that's just one example of going bigger. I think the first thing that comes to people's mind is when we're going bigger, we're thinking more numbers, more visits. You know, it might be seeing your first 100 people in a week. It might be seeing your first 200, your first 300. But let's think a little bit outside of the box, which is the theme for this seminar today, is going bigger means different things for different people. You know, yesterday Sharaf gave a great example of instead of seeing 1,200, you know, seeing 600, but helping other people, you know, into his system and doing more things. So going bigger as a chiropractor could be seeing X number of people per week. It could also be serving the mission of chiropractic in an even bigger way. All right, so that might be getting involved with the association that we have here. It might be getting out into the public, talking more about chiropractic. It might be starting your own courses. We had people like the Chiro dudes who are putting on their own training courses and these sort of things. So we have to figure out, or specifically you have to figure out, what going bigger means for you. It could also be teaching at a university, right? So I'm sure Marco wouldn't mind that, you know, get out there, get involved, and help the chiropractors of the future. Just on a side note, I have been teaching for 6 years at the school in Dresden, and I just got a little story, which is I teach full spine adjusting, and I was trying to get through to the students that chiropractic needs to be specific, right? And I'm sure you've all heard this quote from BJ, I think it's from BJ, where it says, if chiropractic is not specific, it's something, right? And so I said that to the class. I said, guys, so remember, if chiropractic is not specific, what is it? And the guy at the back of the class said, osteopathy. There we go. So the English speakers got that one. The translators, we need more help on the jokes there, please, guys. Next time. Thank you. Spice it up a little bit more. Thank you, guys. Thank you. But no, obviously, if chiropractic is not specific, it's nothing. Right? And that's the point I want to get across there. So as a CA, you know, we've got a lot of CAs here today. What is going bigger as a CA? We learned yesterday that being a CA in practice, the healing starts at front desk. It starts with that first phone call, okay? So as a CA, it might be really connecting with practice members. You know, instead of just having your head down, doing appointments, doing the payment systems, actually connecting, getting to know people, and actually going to the next level on that aspect. It might be organizing events. You know, we had a cool event a couple of weeks ago. We went to Lululemon, some of you guys might know, and we did a screening there, and that was organized by one of our CAs, which was just awesome, getting out into the community and playing a bigger game. As I talk through this stuff, some of it's going to really kind of, you know, rub you on the inside there, and that's the stuff that you've got to follow. So as a CA, it might also be elevating within your practice. Maybe you go from being a CA to being a practice manager, or going into another elevation within the practice. Do we have a few students here today? I think so. Now, if you're a student, we talked about that yesterday, do an internship. You know, how cool is that? We started, I think, late last year, opening the doors to our practice for 3 months at a time. For a student to come in, we do normally 2 students at a time. They can come in, learn as much as they want, take all the systems, see how we do stuff, and get dipped in chiropractic. And that's been the coolest thing ever, because as a practice, you get this new energy from younger or chiropractically younger people coming into your practice. So as a student, go out and do an internship. And what you'll notice with most of the really successful chiropractors that you've seen, they've gone and they have observed as many practices as possible, right? Imagine as a student how it would be if you went out and observed 10 practices in a year. There's some great chiropractors here in Germany. As chiropractors, it's up to us to keep our doors open. When someone comes to observe, show them around, take them out for lunch, get them inspired. But as a student, get out there and do your thing. Play a bigger game. So going bigger is whatever it is for you, all right? Whatever you want to do. All right. From my side, I want to talk about really 2 big topics on how I think we can go bigger. Number 1, I want to talk about our philosophy, personal philosophy of why we're here. Number 2, the chiropractic story. And then I want to talk about building trust through authentic leadership. And I think with these 2 elements, we can really make big steps forwards into playing a bigger game. So, why are you sitting here today? It's like the last day of summer, all right, in Düsseldorf. We got blue sky outside. Why are you sitting here today?
Yes.
Of course it's me.
For me? Oh, no, it's not for me. It's for you, but thank you. So I will guarantee you there's been times in your career as a chiropractor where you've been on fire, you've been on purpose, and you've known exactly why you do what you do. Maybe you're still like that right now, or maybe it's dipped. Maybe it comes in waves. But what I would suggest is we need to connect with this reason. Normally, when you come to a seminar, there's 3 main reasons. Sorry, we're in Germany, so I'm going to go 3. Apologies. Normally, the first reason is you had a great experience. There's the way for ooh. Now I know how fast the translations are. There we go. Very good. Nice one. So it can be that you had an amazing healing experience. You know, you didn't know what chiropractic was. You went to the chiropractor. Boom. Oh, I want to do that for other people. The second reason is maybe, and this is not so often in Germany, as the profession is really only a few decades old, but maybe your parents were a chiropractor, right? And they maybe kicked you into it or forced you into it, or maybe, oh, there we go. There's one. Awesome. There we go. We've got one in the room. Thirdly, maybe you were in a different profession and you just fell in love with the chiropractic philosophy. And you were like, wow, vitalism, natural healing, that's fantastic. That's the place that I want to be. Whatever that reason is, let's make sure that we really connect with it. And I want to share with you why I'm here today. So for me, I was 15 years old. This is me here in this photo. And I want to introduce you guys to a sport called cricket. Okay? Right? Yeah? This is actually the second most popular sport in the whole world. Okay? Just to let you Germans know. All right? Yeah? The problem is, and I found this out in practice, I kept saying cricket, and they said, cricket, that's the one with the little hoops. And the problem was, the movie Alice in Wonderland, they had a problem with the translation, and they translated cricket for croquet, right? And so there's actually an issue there. So that's just a little public service announcement for you guys. So I was 15 years old, loving life, playing sport, doing what a 15-year-old kid does. One day, I woke up with a headache. And I thought to myself, I guess that'll go away by itself, right? When you're 15, that's normally what happens, okay? The problem was, over the next 10 weeks, that headache got worse and worse and worse. It was a constant migraine with dizziness and with a lack of energy, step by step by step by step. It was crazy. I couldn't play my favorite sport of cricket, right? I couldn't go to school. And actually, for most of the time, I was lying in the lounge in a dark room watching TV. And it got so bad that often the TV was off. I just couldn't do anything. Unbelievable, right? So, what do you do when you're 15? You do what your parents do. And they took me off to my doctor, which is great. I've known him, nice guy. I've known him my whole life. And what does the doctor do? Well, they send you to the next doctor, right? So you go up this ladder from the doctor, the house arts, to the neurologist. And then I remember being in hospital, right? And sitting face to face in this small white room, sitting on whatever the medical equivalent of a chiropractic table is, in front of the boss of the hospital, right? My mother's next to me. And he said, look, we've done all the tests. We've done an MRI of your spine. We've done spinal taps. We've done all your bloods. We can't find anything wrong with you. So we're going to have to ask you to come back in 6 months if you still have these headaches, right? Wow. Yeah. Come back in 6 months, right? And I think to myself, what happens if I did come back in 6 months? What would they have done, right? What was interesting was he said, as a doctor, I'm also obliged to tell you anything I find in your body. And just as a side note, I want to tell you that on the MRI, you've got a bit of a twist in your spine. Okay? Now, how bad does a twist in the spine have to be if a doctor can see it on MRI? Right? Okay? And what he said was, don't worry about it, but you might have some back pain at some point later in life. So maybe, when the headaches are better, do some physio just to help with the back, right? Unbelievable. So we leave the hospital, and I'm pretty down and out. And that's when your parents keep you going. And Mum said, don't worry, we're going to go and see the crazy people. I said, okay. They're crazy people, all right. And honestly, within the next few weeks, we went to everybody that we could lay our hands on. We went to energy healers. We went to medical doctors who practice natural medicine. We went to acupuncture. We went to osteopath. We went to everything under the sun, anything we could get our hands on, all of this kind of natural alternative healthcare providers that we could. And one day, my mother was working at a school, and she was talking about this situation to a lady. And the lady said, oh, I know what you got to do. You got to go to this chiropractor. She's an amazing chiropractor, and I'm sure she'll be able to help you. And Mum said, well, that sounds great. Can you tell me how chiropractic works a little bit? No, I've got no idea. But I just help. Just go, right? Who's had that experience in practice, right? Yeah? So anyway, look, here we are at a chiropractic seminar. You already know what happened, right? So I went to the chiropractor. Within 2 weeks, I'm feeling 80% better. I'm going back to school. I'm playing cricket. And, that's the reason that I'm here on the stage today. And I thought to myself, come on, yeah, go on, give it a clap. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. And it was from that moment, I thought to myself, I want to be a crazy person and help other people the way that that lady helped me. And so that's the inspiration. That's my why. That's my reason for being here. Now, just as an example, your why can change over time, right? And this is such a positive, such a wow, I want to give this, I want to share this with other people. Over time, it changed from a little bit of inspiration. There was a hint of frustration that came in there. Who can relate to this? I started thinking to myself, why was it that a 15-year-old kid had to wait 10 weeks to learn about chiropractic? In New Zealand, you're allowed to advertise drugs on television, on advertisements. That doesn't seem fair, right? Why does anybody have to wait 10 weeks? And so in the practice, what we say, one of our purpose statements is that actually nobody should have to wait 10 weeks to learn about chiropractic. All right, this is something that should be told from birth as part of our lifestyle for natural health. Of course, now that I'm a chiropractor, I realize I got off pretty easy, right? 10 weeks is not a long time. How many of us here have all had practice members that have been 10, 20, 40 years having issues, and all of a sudden they get adjusted and their whole world opens up, right? So we have in our practice this statement: we believe that everyone deserves the chance to live at their potential, right? So what is your why? You might have a story. In fact, I know for sure that many people in this room have a similar story, right? So if you do, reconnect with it. If you don't, just borrow one, okay? There's a joke, laugh. It's coming. Give a laugh, give it 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you very much, very much. No, big borrow and steal a story, but here's the thing. Are you clear on the reason why you're doing what you're doing? They told me they can speak really fast, so they said I can go for it. Whatever you decide that your why and what your reason and what your purpose is today, make sure it's about giving. Make sure it's about serving the greater mission. And as Reggie Gold said, I hope we all recognize Reggie Gold, he said, if you're not out to change the world, then everything else is just Mickey Mouse. So let's make sure we connect with why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. Who's been to Malaga? Who's been to Chiro Europe in Malaga? Okay. Okay, good. Not just for the party. So, for those of you that don't know, Chiro Europe is a seminar that happens twice a year in Spain, in Malaga, and it's a great party and a seminar as well. I've been going there for quite a few years, and I noticed something quite interesting with a lot of the speakers. They would get up on stage, and there was a very common theme. They would say, oh, my practice, it wasn't working. It wasn't good. And then I told the chiropractic story, boom, my practice exploded. Then the next speaker comes on. My practice wasn't very good. I wasn't seeing very many people. I wasn't inspired. I started telling the chiropractic story, boom, my practice exploded. And I'm sitting there in the seminar, like, okay, tell me the story. Tell me, what is the story? I'm ready, all right? None of them told me the story. So what I want to share with you guys today is when I came away from that seminar, what we made at Kiwi Chiropraktic is, for us, our framework of the chiropractic story. It might be similar, it might be different to yours, but it's a framework that you can use one-to-one in a report of findings. It can be in a table talk in 30 seconds. It can be exploded out into a health talk. Or it can be you just take one piece of it and describe it to someone, because sharing this chiropractic story is so important that we keep people open to all of our possibilities. So here it is. Let's use this screen. So the chiropractic story, as we said, number one, the body is magnificent and it works through the nerve system. Feel free to take a photo. But unfortunately, life is unnaturally stressful. The nerve system gets out of balance, dysfunction is created, and then body signals can appear. As a chiropractor, my job is to use the spine to restore the central nerve system communication so that your magnificence works again and you can live a life that you love. How cool is that? Simple, right? Should we try in German? Dein Körper ist ein Wunder, es funktioniert durch das Nervensystem, aber unser Leben hat einfach zu viel Stress. Dein Nervensystem kommt außen von der normalen Balance, Dankeschön. Dysfunktion ist da und irgendwann vielleicht auch Signals von der Körper. Meine Arbeit ist mit der Wirbelsäule zum Wiederherstellen der Verbindungen in die zentrale Nervensystem und dann dein Körper funktioniert wieder und du kannst ein Leben leben, das du möchtest. Right? We got there. Fantastic. So let me give you an example from practice, a real example. A lady that came to me just a few months ago. And for me, this is an example of why it's so important that we share the wide chiropractic story and we don't just focus narrowly on, being a musculoskeletal doctor or something like this, right? We don't want to be like that. So this is the story of Laura. Now, Laura is a 42-year-old woman who came into the practice, and she was referred internally by someone who's been there for 4 years and comes for maintenance. And this lady had been saying for a year, you need to go to the chiropractor, you need to go to the chiropractor, right? But finally she decided to come in. And then I tell her the chiropractic story. Hey, Laura, guess what? Your body's actually amazing. Don't forget that. It's incredible, what can happen. The issue is you're living a life that's got unnaturally a huge amount of stress in it. You're working on a laptop, you've got deadlines, you're trying to balance your life, you're living inside all day, as we heard as well. You're traveling, you've got deadlines. Now, she was experiencing migraines every day, right? That was her thing. The reason that her co-worker said go to the chiropractor, I think, is because some days she was great to work with, and some days maybe not so great, or she was feeling really bad for Laura struggling. And those migraines can appear. That might be a signal from your body. Also, things like lack of energy can come up as well. So what we're going to do for you is we are going to give you some adjustments. We're going to adjust you twice a week for 12 weeks. We're going to do a progress exam, measure what's going on, and then your body's going to be able to function better, and you can live, hopefully, a life that you love. Sound good? Sound good, right? That could even be your whole report of findings, right, in terms of explaining chiropractic. With Laura, what was great is, well, let me go this way. Have you ever had this experience where you're just having a good day, right? You're in practice, you're relaxed, you're like, oh, the adjustments are just coming out. Who's had this day? Come on. Come on. Okay, everyone, at least once in our lives, right? Unfortunately, it's not every day, right? But I distinctly remember with Laura, the first adjustment was a C1 ASR adjusted, and have you ever had this happen where the whole body opens up? You're like, something has just happened. I don't know what it is, but her body has just come alive. The power's on, like the chiro dudes were saying, the magic has just come back on in the body. And that's what it was like for her. And that was really cool. Now, obviously, we're at a chiropractic seminar, so what happened to her migraines? They disappeared. Of course they did. But that's not why I tell the story. I tell the story because a few weeks later, or a couple months, she comes and she goes, whoa, Andrew, I got something I got to tell you. I say, great, what is it? She says, I'm pregnant. I said, oh, that's great. That's great. Congratulations for you and your husband, right? Great job. And she says, no, Okay, that one got you guys on the translators. All right. I told you it was a good adjustment. We'll go with it then. Now, here's the thing. Then she told me the story. She didn't tell me the story in the first appointment. She said, look, we tried IVF for a couple of years. We had a year off because we thought, we actually just gave up hope. You know, I'm 42 years old. We came to the realization that I'm never going to have a kid. And you know, right now, she is pregnant. And in 1 or 2 months, I'm so looking forward to holding this baby in my hand, a chiropractic miracle. You know, it's going to be amazing. All right, so tell the chiropractic story. Keep it open so that when people have these reactions, they can see that we're doing chiropractic because it's good for the nerve system. How cool is that, right? Alrighty, so who knows who this lady is on the left-hand side? Does anybody know? Travis, do you know? No? This is Irene Gold. This is the wife of Reggie Gold. Okay? And next to her is Phil McMaster, one of the old presidents of the New Zealand College of Chiropraktic. Okay? And Phil is really well known in New Zealand as having one of the best or coolest practices where people come for a lifetime, you know, for 30 years plus to come and see him. And what's really interesting is there was someone going around New Zealand giving talks about chiropractic. And he was going to all the different cities. And there was something very different that happened when he went to Phil's practice. He would always start his speech with the same question. He would say, guys, why do you go to the chiropractor? And people would say, neck pain, headaches, digestive system problems, period problems, knee problems. That's what they would say in most practices. But they always said something different in Phil's practice. And how cool would it be if we could get this in Germany? He asked the question, why do you go and see the chiropractor? And they said, I go and see the chiropractor because it's good for the nerve system. Right? How amazing would this be in Germany if we could change the consciousness even a little bit to where people know they go to the chiropractor because it's just great for your nerve system. All right? How great would that be? Awesome. So let's move along. Let's talk about building trust through authentic leadership. I want to tell you a story about a big adventure that happened about a month and a half ago. This is at 4 o'clock in the morning. If you look closely, you can see I'm crying slightly because it's so early. The guy in the middle, his name is Nicholas. He is a friend of mine, was a friend. Okay, he's still a friend. He decided it would be a great idea for us to go and climb a mountain, all right? We decided to climb a mountain 4,000 meters high. And if you're not normally a mountain climber, this is a huge thing, all right? The way it works, you hike up to the hut, you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning with tears in your eyes, and then you start trying to climb this mountain. And what's amazing is, for me, this was a great example of authentic leadership. The guy in the red with the red straps that you can see, his name is Marco. Not this Marco, all right, but I'm sure you could do it too. And he was our leader. He was the guide that we paid money for, right? And he was the one who was in charge of getting us up this mountain safely, efficiently, and getting us back down as well. And so there we are. We're all looped together with ropes. We're walking almost like we're in prison. You know, that's how fun it was. Going up the mountain, and we've got our Steigeisen on, we've got our ice axe, and we're climbing this glacier. And I thought to myself, this is chiropractic right here, all right? Because this is authentic leadership. As a leader, your job, and let's just be clear here, leadership is not just if you're the owner of a practice. Leadership is first of all self-leadership. All right, authentically figuring out, you know, your head, your heart, and your gut, lining this up and making sure, number one, you can lead yourself, right? Once you can lead yourself, you get that opportunity to lead your practice members. Then you can lead your CA. You can lead your associates. You can lead your community. Maybe you can even lead your community leaders, right? We want to do that in an authentic way that is truly authentic to you. So, as the leader, Marco's at the front, right? And we have the goal at the top, but he is the one who is choosing exactly what steps we take, what path, where the dangers are, and how we go along. And that's what we have to do in our practices as well. I learned on that mountain that there are different leadership styles. Marco didn't say much, but we all had immediately respect for him, all right? He's taking us up this mountain, we're following him. I look to my right, I see another group, instead of their leader being in the front, their leader was in the back. And he was kind of talking a lot, a bit more vocal, right? Very valid. For him, that was a passend, there we go, German, leadership style. And I'm sure in this seminar over yesterday and today, there'll be people on stage that you really resonate with. And you're like, I want to be like this person, right? But I'll also say that perhaps your model of authentic leadership never came on this stage, right? Because the people that are going to be on this stage are the louder people, right? In most cases. You've got to be sure of your goal. There was no question for us at all that the goal was to get to the top of that mountain. And so we did it, right? Now, as we're climbing, obviously, like the chain gang, we're having fun. It's beautiful, right? It's nature. It's Gran Paradiso in Italy, if you've ever heard of that one. But who's had this experience? Where you're in nature, you might be in a forest, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, somebody comes up playing music. Have you had this? This is my pet peeve in nature, all right? I start hearing, it wasn't just music, right? It was German Schlager music. And this, because we were not the only ones on this mountain, right? And from behind us come these guys. Oh, they looked intense. They're wearing black. They're almost like military, like marching up this mountain, playing this German Schlager music. There goes my serenity. You know what I thought to myself? I thought, there's your non-vitalistic chiropractors right there. All right? But here's the thing. That might be your non-vitalistic chiropractor. There's going to be people in this room that maybe we don't all get along with. That group that was playing the music, I just didn't like them, all right? But here's the thing, guys. We are all on the same mountain together, all right? We all want, at our core, we want a vitalistic chiropractic profession. We want a strong chiropractic profession where we all have the right to practice world-class chiropractic in Germany as we define it to be. So we're all playing the same game, guys. We've got to get on and we've got to climb this mountain together. Do you agree? Yeah. Because this group, they marched past us. We didn't like them, or I didn't like them, whatever. They go around the corner, they kind of disappear. 5 minutes later, we come up behind them. And what you have to realize is that we're all going to face the same challenges. One of the people in this group had fallen into a crevasse. What is this in German? Speitel, right? Gletscherspeitel. Spalter, okay, sorry. Thanks, guys. I'm going to stick to English today. Had actually fallen in, and as we got round, this guy was white in the face, completely pale, and these grown men were giving each other a big hug. They had just pulled him out of this crevasse with the ropes that they were attached for. The whole time I was thinking we had just paid the guide and he just put the ropes on just for fun, right? And so obviously we go over there, we try to help and console these people and get them back going, right? This is what we have to do in our profession. If one of us falls down, we might not resonate 100%, but if one practice goes down, that reflects on all of us. We have to make sure we're working as one group of people and one profession. If Sharaf is doing great, that reflects on us. If he's doing badly, that also reflects on us, okay? So let's make sure we keep that attitude. Unfortunately, what happened next was it was now our turn to go over the gap, all right? So Marco was in front. He comes to the edge, being the beautiful leader that he is. He just jumped across like an angel. And I was the one behind him. I was roped onto him. I noticed that when he got to the edge, the snow that he was standing on, it fell away, okay? And I thought to myself, that doesn't look so good. But he was very confident, so I said, I'll follow him. And I'm here, he's on this side, and he's got the rope ready to kind of pull me across. So I'm standing here, you know, go big or go home. I decide, I jump over, And I don't really remember what happened after that. Because what I'm told is, at least the lower part of my body was in the crevasse. I remember having my elbows army crawling on the other side, while the leader of the practice is there pulling me out the other side, right? And this is what we've got to do in practice, right? There's going to be times when your team are going to have good days and bad days, right? You've got to be there to pull them out. It might be a practice member as well. But it's not just if you're the leader of the practice. Because what happened next is then I'm over the other side. Now I have to turn around and get the next person over. So there's going to be times when you're going to have to pull your boss out of the crevasse, right? You know, CAs, teams, we want to have teams that are all self-organizing and self-regulating, just like the human body, okay? All right, so getting a little bit low on time, but I just want to give you a few takeaways on how you can build trust in an authentic way in the practice. Okay, we've had great ideas yesterday, and I got a few more for you. Number one, at the very core of it, is changing your internal world to reflect on your external world. So how you get to the top of the mountain is through building trust, right? A few examples of how you can be an authentic leader in your community is community engagement. You know, we've heard a lot about attracting new people into the practice, about, you know, making a difference, spreading the message. But what about the people that are already in our practice, right? What about our family, our community that's already there? In New Zealand, for us, this is the biggest focus that we always had, was how can we look after, deliver more value, and deliver more education to our current practice members. So I've got two ideas for you: community events and a pre-shift routine. So, number one, community engagement. We got three ideas here. Who's doing a new person orientation or a health talk or a workshop in their practice? Who's doing that? Awesome. Yep. So all the Kiwi team. Yep. Excellent. Thank you, guys. So up the top, you can see Finn. He's giving the health talk to people, educating them about their spine. What a great way to take the time, give people a real moment to connect about chiropractic. If you're not doing it, it's an idea that you could build in. Down the bottom on the left, we've got what we started to do about 3 years ago was in a rhythmical basis. So every quarter, so every 3 months, we do an advanced health workshop, okay? And we were doing them before that a bit sporadically, but I would say the key is really to do it on a rhythmical basis. So, for example, you might choose a topic of health like sleep or stress, get an external expert in, and connect that up to chiropractic. What we've found is it's just an incredible way to connect with people on another level. If they're used to coming in and getting their adjustment, all right, see you later, you know, it's a great way to spend more time. And for us right now, that's a rhythm. People recognize that rhythm, and you know, it's getting booked out. We need a bigger space for it, okay? Third option, down the bottom there with me sitting on the floor around food. It's not because I'm really hungry. Was a joke, good. Is every Christmas, we collect food for the Amerikanische in Düsseldorf, right? And it's amazing. Does anybody else do that, by the way? So how cool would this be? Thank you, Paul. Yeah. How cool would this be as a profession? It's amazing to see the generosity spirit from your practice members, right? People love to come and they're donating perishable foods. And at the end of the day, you get this mountain of food where you can go and make a difference. It's a great way of being a leader in your community, authentically, if that's authentic to you. But do this kind of stuff. Make sure you work a lot internally within your practice. Here we go. Beautiful. There we go. Another New Zealand sport. Here we are. So who knows what the sport is? Rugby. I know there's one South African in the room, so I'm not going to talk too much about rugby. But a pre-shift routine. Okay, so how do you turn up on shift? Do you have good days and bad days? And are they like this? Right? What if you could make it more often good days or more often great days? This is the New Zealand rugby team, okay? It's not the second most popular sport in the world, but it is the most popular sport in New Zealand. And they do a particular pre-shift routine. They come together as a group and they do a haka, right? You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
Great, so I'm going to demonstrate that for you now. But no, the way it looks like for us in the practice is 30 minutes before shift, we come together as a group and we, 30 minutes before shift individually, we go through each practice member, seeing what's important. 15 minutes before we come together as a group, we set an intention individually for the shift. It could be flow, connection, giving, whatever it is. And then we might all take a deep breath in together to kind of get on the same page. Maybe let's do that now. Everyone take a deep breath in through your nose and out. Awesome. And you'll just notice that we're a bit more all on the same page. Okay? Pre-shift routine, make sure you've got one. Friedemann, I'm going to go a little bit over time. Second, another important thing is get your priorities right. Okay? As practice members, we're very smart. As people, we're very smart. We can sniff if somebody's in there for the dollar bills or for the euros, okay? We don't translate in money, we translate in trust, okay? So number one, healthcare first, business second, or even fair exchange second, okay? One of my mentors would say, if you've disconnected from your why, then you're probably going to have business first. If you're in a practice where, a chiropractor is not leading the practice, it's probably just a business, not a practice anymore. In my opinion, in Germany, there's two possibilities for this profession, which I don't think we're talking about enough. Right now, we're working mainly under the Chiropraktiker Erlaubnis. There is a chance at some point that we go down this very, very dark path of chiropractic being a secondary healthcare medical profession, where you have to go and get a receipt from somebody, and you get to treat headaches for 6 visits, you get to treat lower back pain for 12 visits. That is a possibility that has happened in certain countries, okay? And it's important that we look towards other countries on how we can do this properly. I would say that we have another path that we all want, and that is the path of staying a primary healthcare provider, where people can come to us directly, and we can make sure that we focus on delivering, as we define it, world-class chiropractic here in Germany, okay? We have heard many people express their vision for chiropractic in Germany over the weekend, and I think that we could probably define them all in saying that we want more world-class chiropractic in Germany and more world-class chiropractors here in Germany. Do you agree? Yes. Excellent. So, Friedemann's trying to get me off the stage. It's the perfect time, because one example is we had, I think 15 or 16 people stand up to be leaders of this DAGC organization on the Vorstand and in the Beirat. So if you're here today, I would like you to stand up if you're in the Vorstand or the Beirat for the DAGC. There we go. These are people that have decided to play a bigger game. There's not a lot of reward involved in this. And so how about we give them all a big round of applause? Wait. So, wait. Thank you. Friedemann's trying to get me off the stage. I'm not finished. Now, I would also like to recognize this man right here. Okay? Friedemann, Lee, Sandra, who have done an amazing job in the last 2 years as the Vorstand of the DAGC. They've worked hard. There was only 3 people organizing all of this stuff. It's been incredible. So let's recognize them as well, please. And Friedemann, I'm just going to stand over here so you can't kick me off just yet. As we go back to the story at the start, who was the hero? Was it me? Was it the chiropractor? No, the hero was that lady who said, go and see the chiropractor. That's what we need, okay? As a group, we talk about seeing a certain number of adjustments per week, right? We talk about this person seeing 600, this person seeing 100 visits a week. Guess what? As a group, I did some maths. In a year, we're seeing over 1 million adjustments per year. Isn't that amazing? And I guarantee you, you're making a bigger difference than you know. So in summary, know why you're doing what you're doing, communicate the chiropractic story, build trust through authentic leadership. Remember, we're all on the same mountain together. Go big and don't go home. I'm done. Thank you.